What are you doing? Hi there, my name is Tracy. This is the 3-Wick Thesis Candle channel. I am joined today with special guest, Harry. He is such an awesome cat. Hi, buddy. It's one of my mom's 4 cats. He is the most interesting, the most present, the most curious, the naughtiest, the smartest, the biggest. He has a lot of, I think, positive aspects to who he is as a cat. So he's going to be bouncing around in the background. Feels a little bit like home in that regard. Today I am sharing with you my mom's small home fragrance and soap lotion collection. A lot of these are from Yankee Candle, as well as some Bath & Body Works products. Got some old school Slatkin Co, Pier 1, a few kind of cheaper like Rite Aid style candles. But when I first got home to visit her as she was passing, I was like, wow, she's got a lot of kind of half-burned candles, and I was really curious about, you know, what the scent notes were and what she liked. And it inspired me to create this video, one, to kind of capture the different scents that she enjoyed shortly before passing, but also as a way for me to kind of document what I might choose if I were to create some sort of honoring rotation, which I plan to do. I want to put together a collection of fragrances that I think mirror her taste and her interest, and then burn them in memory of her and her joy for candles and home fragrance. Now, I got to be clear with you all, I didn't know she was a huge fan of candles. She didn't have them when I was a kid growing up. And when I came home to visit, I wasn't big into candles or home fragrance, and they were probably here, but I didn't notice. I did ask my stepdad, I was like, wow, you have a lot of kind of half-burned candles around. Like, did you all burn candles a lot? And he goes, oh yeah, before she got sick, which, by the way, my mom died from Alzheimer's. Before she got sick, we used to go to the store and we'd sniff all the candles and we'd choose one, and she'd come home and burn it, and we'd light candles every night. So it sounds like it was a pretty big part of their everyday ritual that I was never privy to. It was just not something that happened when I would come to visit. It wasn't something that happened when I was growing up. We never went to candle stores together. And so there's this part of me that it definitely hits somewhere on the heartstrings of she loved something I loved, and that would have been really cool if we had loved it at the same time and we could have shared our passion and gone shopping together. And I know that my mom would have loved my YouTube channel. She'd have been watching every video, sharing with all her friends, commenting on everything. But unfortunately, the timing just didn't align. It didn't work out. So anyway, I'm going to share these. I think you'll get a kick out of them. I was enjoying looking at them and sniffing them. Some of them are ones that I've bought, and I even thought, like, were these my old candles? You know, I kind of scratched my head a little bit. I'm like, no, I don't think there's any way these could be mine. I think these are ones she picked out, and we just had some similar tastes. So I think I'll start with, she's got some small ones that are kind of just like no-name brand candles that I wanted to include because they were a part of her collection, but nothing that I'm familiar with. I have heard of this particular brand, Lamplight Farms, but I've never personally purchased or burned this type of candle from this company. It also doesn't have scent notes on it. It just is described as butter cream, or butter creme, really, because it's got the little apostrophe over the E. And it smells like a classic vanilla buttercream. It's a little cloyingly sweet. I think a little over the top with what feels like an artificial vanilla fragrance. But that might also just be the quality of the candle. And you can tell this one is one she never got to. It wasn't lit. And you may be wondering, you know, am I going to take any of these home? And right now, I just don't think it's the time. My stepdad is mourning, and I'm trying not to disrupt the house. I want it to feel like she's still here. And so I'm not going to strip his home of the candles she loved. These are his now. And when he's ready and he wants to give them to me, I would gladly take them, but I'm not going to take them home with me. Plus, y'all, I have a big enough collection, and I'm actually looking forward to putting together a memorial rotation and buying some new stuff in her honor. Next one is an apple pie candle, and I'm thinking maybe I'll just put my Bath & Body Works apple pie candle that I got from the outlet store a few months ago into the rotation as a replacement for this one. This is technically a Rite Aid tin candle that she purchased, and based off of the batch code on the bottom, I'm going to guess that she bought this either in 21 or an 11 because the first number of it is a 1 followed by 108. And it really just smells to me like a cinnamon clove candle. A little bit of hint of sweetness from the apple in there. Love the red wax and the thin wick in there. I think that probably would burn pretty hot, especially with the tin vessel. So this one is apple pie. She also had another tin candle. I got really excited when I saw this one, but y'all, I gotta be honest, I don't like the smell of it. This is a pure cotton candle scent, and it just says travel tin scented candle. I don't actually see any brand information on here whatsoever. It was only $1, so I think she probably picked this up at like a dollar store. I'm not sure what the fragrance is. There's no scent notes here, but this doesn't smell like a cotton fragrance to me. It smells kind of like an old lady face powder / soap. So interesting. It's floral and it's got a freshness to it, but I wouldn't associate it with cotton. It doesn't smell like laundry, which I was kind of hoping for. So that one is just a small tin. Never burned into that one. She also had a Slatkin Co candle that was sitting at her desk. Also brand new, never burned. Love that yellow wax on here. This one is vanilla coconut, but I gotta tell you all, this is a coconut candle. That's really all I get. And it's a good, hi Harry. It's a good coconut fragrance in that I feel like I get a sense of the guts, the flesh. I get a sense of the creaminess that comes with a coconut, but I also get like this earthy sense of husk. So it's a pretty complex coconut, but I don't get sweetness or like a vanilla extract note from this at all. It just smells like coconut to me. And then it's yellow wax, and you'll see there a lot of the essential oils have risen to the top, so this candle is very well cured. It probably would smell really strong on the first burn. And I looked on here to see if I could see a batch number, and there isn't one on here. Price point, however, is $9.50, so I think this one is probably relatively recent, not too far back. So that one never been touched. I kind of like that one, but I'm not big into coconut, so not my jam. She clearly really loved Yankee's Christmas cookie. She has this medium jar version of it that she has gotten mostly through, and you can tell her wick definitely traveled over there. I'm looking at some of these candles, I'm like, oh no, Mom, you should not have been burning this. She's got another one with just a ton of soot in it. So, you know, as someone who loves candles and is very careful about things, it's like, ooh, I could have told her that's bad. But she just ripped into it and it was fine. You know, nothing happened. It looks like it burned itself out. Definitely had some tunneling issues in there from the way that the wick traveled. But this one is still available. You can still get Christmas cookie during the holiday season. In fact, I might have this one at home. I think I do. I may have been the person who introduced this one to her because I really liked it when I was living in Michigan, and that was back early 2000s was the last time I was living in Michigan. The label has changed on this. There's still cookies on the front. I'll go ahead and put a picture of it right here so you can see it. So I know this is an older version. And the batch number starts with 6. So if they do the batch numbers the same way that Bath & Body Works does, this is, I'm going to guess, from 2016. The other option is that they might have the last number be the year, and in that case it's a 1, so it could be from 21. If you all know how Yankee does their batch numbers, put that in the comments for me. I'm not sure if it's the same as Bath & Body Works. I'm going to see if I can pull up the scent notes on this one from their website. They do currently have it in a 3-wick candle. Top notes of creamy vanilla bean, middle notes of nutmeg, cinnamon, and sugar, and base notes of vanilla, butter, and baked notes. And I'm actually going to grab, because she's got this medium jar that doesn't have a lid, so it's lost all of its fragrance. But she also had a backstock of the large jar that I can actually smell more effectively. And it is very, very sweet. This is a gourmand fragrance. It smells like a classic sugar cookie. I feel like you get a sense of not only kind of the doughy, chewy, soft center, but you get a sense of like the browned cookie bottom in there. I get just a hint of the nutmeg and cinnamon in here. It is very, very subtle. Harry going crazy in there. Harry decided he wanted out, so I had to go open the door. But anyways, I don't get a strong sense of the spice notes that are in here, that cinnamon and the nutmeg. I feel like this is just a very creamy frosting vanilla note with a rich, buttery sugar cookie that's freshly baked. Yeah, that is delicious. Again, I have this one at home. I don't think it's in this label, however, and these two labels are the same. Probably coming from the same year if I had to guess. Let's see, same batch number. The batch year on this one is different. This one has number 115504. So again, that might be 21. Or it could be 14 if you're going by the end versus the beginning. Yeah, so not sure when this one came out, but full jar, never used. And hopefully my stepdad will burn that this Christmas and be able to, you know, think of her. More Yankee stuff. She had this one. I haven't seen this label. I don't even recognize this at all, y'all. And I don't know which one of these numbers on the bottom is a batch number. But this is Sage and Berry. And this is the one that's got the soot. This is soot at the top. So you can tell she really just let it rip. And she did let this one self-extinguish, but didn't throw the jar away. So it's kind of like this blast from the past, but you can't enjoy it anymore. And this smells really good. If they had this still, I would definitely snag this. It is fruity. It just smells kind of like a mixed berry, maybe like a little bit of strawberry, raspberry, and blueberry in there. And the sage just adds like a little bit of green earthiness to help to balance that sweetness from the berry. At any rate, if I see this one come back, I'm going to snag that and burn it in her name because I love the way that smells. She also had one that I thoroughly enjoy, and I finished this up actually in my February rotation, and that's the Cranberry Chutney. This is one that I buy frequently. This is probably one of my most bought, besides Witch's Brew, Yankee Candle. I just love it. It's a little bit jammy and it feels a little bit artificial. I think some might say that the cranberry note in there almost smells a bit like plastic. It's got like this artificial element to it that I also feel like their Sugar Plum candle has to it. However, I still really like it, and I buy it as soon as I run out. I will probably buy one again for this holiday season. They do have it out right now in the new label. I'll go ahead and put a picture up here for you in case you're interested in checking that out. It has top notes of ripened raspberry and strawberry leaf, mid notes of cranberry and black cherry, and base notes of iris and orange flower. I do not get any of the floral in this whatsoever, but I do definitely get cranberry and black cherry. The cranberry is tart and reads a little bit sour, and then I feel like the cherry is very sweet. It's definitely a black cherry. It's rich and sweet. It's not too tart, and I think it's really well balanced with the cranberry note that's in here. So another medium jar that she got through and finished off. There's also a Woodwick candle that she has in here that is brand new, never burned, from the Trilogy collection. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, given the layers here, I think what that means is there's 3 different fragrances in these and you burn through one at a time. This one is applewood, anjou apple, and caramel apple. The top smells like pear to me though, so I'm not sure. It's supposed to be an apple candle, but it smells a little bit like pear. Does have the Woodwick, which is awesome. I really like Woodwick candles. And I also just love the green color of this wax and kind of that ombre style with the layering. This one, again, I almost can't read that number, 10910. So this could be from 11, it could be from 21. I'm not sure, but I like that one too. I think that one's a really pretty fragrance. And then there's one here from Pier 1 Imports. This one is one I think she probably picked up when she was visiting me on her trip to California when I was working there. And that's these huge pillar candles that came in different fragrances. Eucalyptus was a really popular scent when I worked there. And these give people a lot of trouble. The way that they burn, the outer wax is thicker and it doesn't melt. So it kind of intentionally creates a tunnel with the softer wax in the middle to melt and throw the fragrance, and then the outer wax creates this like hard shell that doesn't melt. The problem is that you end up getting this really huge tunnel. You get down to like right here, and then the candle can collapse in on itself. So we used to tell people to kind of roll in the hard wax as you worked your way down, and then the tunnel would get smaller and smaller. There's a reason why these aren't being sold anymore, and I think it has a lot to do with the burn quality. Now, in terms of fragrance, this is still sealed, and I'm not going to open it, but it definitely is a clean, crisp eucalyptus fragrance, and this big boy was only 15 bucks when she bought it, so definitely a good value given today's prices for that size candle. And then there are a couple of lotions that were in the bathroom, and I think she bought these when I was home visiting, because I remember going to Bath and Body Works, and these are both dated. One of them is from, I think, 2005, and then the other ones are from 2006, and I think those are probably both times that we went to Bath and Body Works together, and I was buying lotions at the time. So she has the old school, these are not the new ones, y'all, of the coconut verbena. This one is the body lotion, and she about halfway done. She's got worked through some of it. I don't know if this is still good. I know the lotions go bad, but honestly, it's not incredibly runny. I'm gonna just give it a try. Yeah, it still smells. It's not greasy. It's not separated. This is also old school Bath and Body Works, when quality was of more importance compared to today's product. So this is held up surprisingly well given its age. No price point on this lotion, but on this one it's $9. So just kind of a reminder of, it wasn't that long ago that we could get these for $9, and now we're paying, what, $17.95, $16.95 for a lotion. So really gone up. This one is the Mango Mandarin body lotion. And then the soap was a $5 price point. And of course now we're paying $7.95 for coconut verbena. Although technically that was a Sass fragrance from Winter Sass, so maybe you could have gotten it a little bit cheaper. This mango one, Mango Mandarin, just says luscious, juicy mango and mandarin orange mingle with energizing citrus notes in this mouth-watering fragrance. And I don't know if this one's any good either. This one's jammed up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to squeeze it too hard because I think it's going to squirt right out of there. It is still in what looks like liquid form. I don't see separation. This one's also, I'm not sure if you can come through. It's right here, so about halfway gone. So those were the only two lotions I saw, and then the foaming soap, which has never been used. I'll probably give this to my stepdad and tell him to put it on the counter and use it up, because it's technically expired, but I don't really think soap expires, y'all. I don't know. I'll give it a try, and if it looks wonky, then maybe we'll just toss it. But interesting that she liked that fragrance, and that was one of the Winter Sass returning favorites that came out this past December? I think it was in December those came out. So I thought I would cut in real quick and share with you 4 more candles that I found. My stepdad and I were cleaning out the closet that's in my sister's bedroom. That's actually this room here, because she was looking for some stuff that she thought my mom had saved and couldn't find it while she was here, so we dug stuff out. Her stuff is actually in those boxes there, so we did find some good stuff for her. And while we were doing that, we also came across a little tiny stash that my mom had put away in that closet along with some of the Christmas items. So I have 4 more that I'm going to add to this video. I'll start with one that I know I'm familiar with. It doesn't have a sticker on it anymore, but because I worked there, I recognize it. This is from Pier 1 Imports, and they had a particular style where it looked like wax chunks in a candle. You can see from the top, you get that kind of like chunking effect where they mixed colored wax and chunks and made it look a little bit more, I don't know, decorative. This one, just from smelling it, I can tell that this is the Oceans fragrance, and I talk about that this fragrance a lot on my channel because this was one of my favorites when I worked there. It was this one in Tuscan Herb that I really enjoyed. And my mom probably bought this because I worked there, but also because this was one of my favorite fragrances. And she never burned it. You can see it hasn't been burned. A little bit dusty from being in the closet. But this one suffers from the same issue as that big Eucalyptus one. It will just tunnel really bad. You have to have, it's best to have a hurricane because these things can kind of melt out and go all over the place. So I'll probably tell my stepdad this is more for decoration and sniffing, less for actually burning. So found that one. This is one of their shorter pillars, 3x4. This one was the shortest you could get other than a votive in their candle sizes. She also had a couple more Slatkin Co's. One of them is Pineapple Mango. And it looks like this one she burned probably once. It doesn't look like it ever came to full pool. You can see there's actually rings around the wicks, like she lit it and then burned it out almost immediately. So not sure what happened there, but no scent notes on the bottom. I definitely get a good blend of both pineapple and mango. You get that sweet kind of ripe fruit essence from the mango, and then you get just a hint of tartness from the pineapple. I feel like it's really well balanced. Very summer, very fruity. I don't normally like pineapple that much, but I think with the mango it's just like the perfect touch because mango can be kind of cloyingly sweet. Pineapple adds that nice tartness to help balance it out. So that's the Slatkin & Co. Pineapple and Mango. Love the yellow wax on that. She also had stashed away in there Seaside Escape. This one also no scent notes. Let's see, $9.50 price point. Batch number starts with a 0 on this one. Batch number on the Pineapple Mango I think started with a 9. Yeah, so, I mean, my guess is this one's probably 19 and this one's probably 20. Yeah, I don't know if I like that one. She burned this one just once, too. Looks like she lit it and burned it out like the other one. Never came to full pool. It is beachy, but it's also just kind of, it just smells odd to me. I'm really curious about what this would smell like lit. I might ask my stepdad if I can light this one up while I'm here. You get coconut for sure. And then I feel like there's like a weird, almost like perfumey note in here. That's not, it doesn't really go with the coconut note. It almost smells like it's trying to have like a driftwood or some sort of floral note in there. But I mostly get coconut. You could convince me there's a sour fruit in here, like a pineapple or a passion fruit. But not much. It's mostly, I mostly just get coconut and whatever that aquatic note is in here. Okay, and this one does actually have the scent notes on the bottom. It says a delightful blend of bright citrus, jasmine, and rum, layered with hints of guava, rich vanilla, and musk. So there's no coconut in this, but this smells to me a lot like coconut. I don't know where they're getting citrus from. I don't smell citrus. Maybe that vanilla and musk are playing off each other to smell like coconut. This smells like coconut, some sort of light floral, and like a sour fruit, which guava would make sense. Yeah, I get coconut on this. I don't know, y'all, but that's the Seaside Escape. Little tiny jar. And then the last one we found is the Yankee Cinnamon Stick. And this one is still on the Yankee website. It has the old school label though. I'll go ahead and put it up here in case you want to see it. So not this label, but similar. And then that's one, the one up here is not the new one because they're redoing the jars and labels. They're switching to all soy. So this one, we probably won't see this label either. We'll have a new one coming out soon if this returns. Top notes are cinnamon stick. Middle notes are clove and cardamom. And base notes are bay leaf and cedarwood. And when I smell this, I just get spicy cinnamon and a little bit of clove. It smells like those, they're like jelly beans almost. They come out at Valentine's Day. Actually, I don't even know if they still make those. I think they're in the shape of a heart. They're just little tiny candies that smell like really spicy cinnamon, almost like a big red bubble gum sort of smell. You'd have to like spicy cinnamon. I do get a hint of what might be the bay leaf in here. I feel like there's something a little bit like earthy and woody probably come from in that cedar wood too. It's definitely a base note. It's a foundation. It feels like it's kind of just holding the really spiciness of the cinnamon and clove. I don't get cardamom, which I think would be a nice addition if that came through stronger, because it's a little bit warm and it might help round out those spicy edges. But yeah, I really just get spicy hot. And you can see where the oils have separated from the wax on this one. So I'm guessing this has been around for a bit. Batch number starts with a 1. So I'm going to guess this is from 11. But then again, it could be from 21 and just have separated from the way that it was stored. And basically what that means is when this gets burned, you're going to get big puffs of oily throw that'll smell really strong. And then when those immediately burn off, you kind of just get the unscented wax that's left. So there tends to be kind of an inconsistent burn throw when you see the oil that's separated like that. It's still good. You can still burn it. It just won't have the same quality as one where the oils have not separated. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut back to the conclusion part of this video so we can wrap this up, y'all. Alright y'all, so that is all I have for this collection that I kind of rounded up from the house. It was really fun to explore these candles and think about, you know, what she liked and what she was burning and where she was at in the process of her candle collection. I hope you enjoyed getting some insight and me sharing some of these older candles with y'all. And be on the lookout relatively soon. I think it'll probably be late summer, early fall. I'm going to put together a memorial rotation and just collect some of her favorite fragrances and burn them to honor her as a way of just sharing what she loved and having it in my home instead of in hers. So if you liked this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That's always appreciated. And if you aren't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you take off to your next YouTube video. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I will see you again in my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.